Hey guys, welcome to Not Quite Homesteading, ESK Garden Channel. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a small tour. It's a tour inside my herbs and things that I'm growing inside my patio. These things are not outside in the garden for various reasons, but I hope that you guys enjoy coming along on this tour. If you are new here, or if you're into gardening, or if you're a new gardener like myself, take a moment and subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you along on this journey. I am someone that is, gardening for the sake of now growing my own food, trying to cut costs around produce prices for groceries. And while I am not quite homesteading, I'm not aiming to be 100% self-sufficient. I am aiming to, preserve enough food for my family for at least a year. That is a place that I would like to get to. So I hope that you guys will stick around and take this journey with me. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the tour. So the first thing that I'm growing in my patio, this is catnip. I started this plant in August. Catnip in this area is supposed to be grown around June, but I do think the plant has done pretty well, considering that it seems like if given the chance, it would grow quite prolifically. And this, I believe I have, is like a 1 gallon container, and this is what the plant is looking like. It needs a little bit of water right now, but typically it's pretty much standing tall. It's done very, very well here. They do like a lot of water, so if you plan to grow catnip, just keep that in mind. I have some basil that I'm trying to grow in a small pot. I'm not sure yet if I want to actually transplant them into the actual garden. I might, because it seems like they've kind of reached a point where they need a little bit more room, and they're not really growing at a rate that I think they should be growing at this point. I have some spinach here. This plant was one of the early spinach plants that I planted. I got some leaves off of it, definitely harvested. They taste delicious. It went through a kind of like a spider mite invasion, so I cut the plant back completely. It's starting to grow back now, but I'm still seeing some signs on the underside of what looks like it could be, another invasion. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's the fertilizer or spider mites. I haven't seen any webs, so it could very well just be like fertilizer. But I do have some more spinach growing. Here I have a Swiss chard plant that I started roughly about a month ago at this point. So I started this one kind of like as a succession sowing to this plant here that's next to it. This plant has been doing pretty well. I think, when did I start this one? I started this one in September. So this I've harvested several times from. I recently just harvested off all of the leaves that were really big. And I haven't done a full grown Swiss chard. I've harvested this mostly as kind of baby greens, which, is preference for salads. If you let it get to full size, then you kind of end up with a much more bitter green. At this stage, and the stage that I typically harvest them at, they're pretty mild. It's a mild bitterness that kind of balances other lettuce or meals, and I like them like that. So I probably will do some full grown Swiss chard, but I think when I do those, I will do them in the garden and not as a patio plant, so that they will have the space to actually grow. And I just saw something crawling on my plant, so I'm probably gonna have to get some neem oil and spray. So this one was started in September. I've harvested at least 3 or 4 times, and then this one I started just about a month ago, and it's just kind of getting its footing. Over here I have my sage plant, and like I said in my previous video, which is the seed video, I've had this plant for some time. I think I actually even had this before I started the garden itself, and it really took off after I kind of started learning about what it takes to really grow plants and to make them successful. So right now this plant is at a place that is doing really well. I probably need to just harvest some leaves off to stimulate the plant because I haven't harvested in a little bit, so that it can continue to grow its next set of leaves. And then of course get all of the leaves off that have like dirt on them and that kind of stuff. Down in this little corner here, I have another spinach plant. So this spinach plant is currently growing. I don't know when I started this one. It probably at this point was about like a month and a half ago, or maybe a month ago, but it's at the point where I can kind of start picking the leaves. This is I believe it's a salad like hybrid sensation plant, salad sensation or hybrid, something to that effect. But basically the plant is harvestable anywhere from like the 22nd day up to 55 days. So you can pick it as like baby spinach, or you can let it grow to like full maturity and then do like regular like sauteed spinach, that kind of stuff. And it's been really good, and I enjoyed that particular variety. On this side, I have some bunching green onions. I have been harvesting from this. I have so many green onions, but these things are delicious. I will never buy green onions from the store again. Now that I have these grown, my understanding with like green onions is that once you grow them, if you allow them to seed, they will always grow back like tenfold. So it's kind of like grow once, keep on giving. But these are delicious. I enjoy harvesting my own green onions. The biggest struggle I had with green onions previously is, trying to keep fresh produce that you're not growing yourself. You kind of end up over stacking your refrigerator and things get lost. They don't get used in time. You forget you have them. And that used to happen to me a lot with green onions, or just having to shuffle through the refrigerator quite a bit to get to stuff. I would get to the point where I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to use it. And then they end up going bad. So I'm glad that I don't have that issue anymore. I just come out, pull the green onions when I need to. Occasionally I'll come in, and I probably need to do this pretty soon, is just kind of like pull out the, the little brown ones that are like have died off already. So they're not affecting the rest of the plant. But beyond that, like they're good. They continue to grow. I fertilize them maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, and these really benefit from the fertilizer. I don't know, if any other experienced gardeners, like what your feelings are on that, fertilizing that frequently for certain things. But I've found that these grow really well, and they really respond well to when I fertilize them. On this side, I have some cilantro, and this is cilantro that I propagated from store-bought cilantro. So I did this before I actually got my seeds in the mail, and I want to see if this at all becomes successful, is a successful way to grow cilantro. You guys can see some of the plants look like they're wilting. What I did was I peeled off like the bottom leaves and then made sure that part went into the soil so that the plant could root. I don't know how many, I guess I did about 8 of them, hoping that maybe 1 or 2 of them would survive and actually root and grow a plant for me. So this is an experiment. I don't know if I'm expecting anything great to come from this, but I will obviously update you guys on where we are with this and how this worked out for me. And then on this side, nothing fancy over here, but you guys can see I just have some extra soil there. I have my lavender plant, which is looking quite pathetic at this point. I don't know if this plant can even be saved. It's not been watered in quite some time. And even when I was watering it, it kind of had just like given up on me. So I gave up on it. I might try to water it, see what that does, if it does anything. If not, I will definitely get a new lavender plant in the spring. And then lastly, I have some arugula that I'm growing on this side, and I've really been enjoying arugula. I grew some in my bed. I still have the plant there. I cut it back recently, and it is growing new leaves. I planted some new seed in my bed also, and then I was like, you know what, let's do some baby arugula variety in the little gallon grow container. And while it's definitely been a lot slower than growing in the bed, I'm not in a rush. I know the weather is not like ideal, even though arugula tends to grow a little bit better in cooler weather, but I do think this plant is one that likes and prefers to stretch out its roots a little bit and to have just a little bit more room to grow. So that is everything I'm growing in my patio, with the intention of just kind of keeping some things close, others with the intention of keeping them at kind of like baby stages so that they don't grow to like full mature potential. If you guys have smaller setups of like gardens, things that you grow in that manner, let me know like what you're growing and why. I would love to hear about it. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.